Maybe you're someone that has that humongous pile of books that you never end up getting through, and you are thinking your way into your healing because you have this pile of books that will help you. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why just thinking your way into healing doesn't work and what you must do instead. So yes, I can 100% say that I have books that I have not read yet. We all have that kind of part of us. We think we'll get around to it, but we never do. I am actually going to slowly start getting through my books. I'm just a mom, so I have other things to do at the same time. But anyway, often when you are buying books, you tend to be thinking your way into your healing journey if you are buying books on the how to heal, spiritual growth, self-improvement. And unfortunately, this is just using the one-way method, the logical mind, and constantly intellectualizing things. We all know, we've probably been there where you thought, oh, I'll get that book, I'll watch that video, I'll do that course, and all you end up doing is taking in information but never really taking any action on it. And the thing is, we are constantly trying to chase that healed version of yourself, thinking that book or that video, that blog will give us some kind of inspiration, give us some information that will heal us. And this is like going against something constantly, going upside down, turning around. It's like when we are trying to swim, when the waves keep pushing us back and pulling us back into the shore. Because when we are constantly trying to chase that version of yourselves, we're swimming over to that version of ourselves, but there is a resistance that you haven't addressed yet. Because why are you chasing that healed version of yourself? Why do you think that next book, that next video, oh, I've seen that video, that's a really good video, that might give me the tips and tell me that I'm healed finally? We are chasing because we're either trying to escape something or have a sense of lack of something. So we're constantly trying to chase that healed version of ourselves. And we think that just thinking our way into it, using the logical mind, will finally give us that download and tell us how to heal. And when you have all of that information, it's like you know what to do, you know what you must be doing, but we never do it because we are chasing something else rather than addressing what the resistance is, what is pushing us back, or what we are trying to escape. And often these things that we are trying to escape, we are trying to suppress and ignore. We don't want to feel our way into healing. We don't want to feel vulnerable and open. So we try to say, no, I don't like that. I'm going to push that away. And this book and me thinking a better thought, thinking about being that version of myself, that healed version of self, will bring that into existence. But when we keep suppressing things, it's only going to make matters worse. And we cannot do the healing work and be that version of ourselves when we still have this wounding and attachment that is rooted in our core identity and beliefs that we are suppressing and not fully addressing because we think that book, that video will give us what we need. And all it is our wounding from childhood, our ego attaching to a core belief and a core identity. And that says, well, this is who you are, this is your status, this is your race, this is your identity that you've been programmed with since birth. So we need to address what the core attachment is, what the core wounding. It's all our programming we've been exposed to since childhood that we are suppressing, the childhood wounds often. And this means doing the shadow work. Sitting with our shadow is the things we are suppressing. So how do you sit with your shadow? What do I need to do to address this? And there's just some simple things that we can do is ask yourself, why? Why is it you are suppressing your feelings? Why do you feel like you are a piece of shit? Why am I trying to constantly chase? Because when we begin to inquire with ourselves, we can get to deep rooted beliefs and shed those layers, because it goes layer by layer. It's not always about getting to the deep root cause straight away. Sometimes it feels safer and easier to go layer by layer. So asking yourself why, then going deeper, why again. And one way you can do this is through journaling. I found journaling to be so powerful for me. It's the number one tool I go to for my spiritual, my healing journey. And here I am with my journal. This is a light worker journal that I picked up a couple of years ago, and I don't necessarily always write in it every day. This has lasted me like a year or so, maybe even longer, and I am like close to the end. You can see where I have a pen in there, and I journal in this. I journal any thoughts that come to my head, any dreams, and a lot of healing journaling prompts I write down in here. This is just a blank journal. It does have little spiritual practices and spiritual guidance in this one. I don't know if you can see, like little practices you can do to help release things and receive guidance in that. So journaling is a really powerful tool to help us let go, help us process and reflect on previous experiences. Help us process the day. If you are journaling every day or every other day, it helps you to process your day, so then it moves the energy throughout the body, throughout your mind and your nervous system, so you feel clearer, you feel more lighter. And that is when we're able to release and let go of things, because I've journaled when I felt really angry before. But why the fuck am I feeling so angry all the time? And I was snapping at my partner, I was feeling easily triggered. And I just self-inquired, asking why, then going deeper and ask why again, why? And then ultimately you will land on something that is the deep-rooted cause or belief that your inner child often holds on to. But if you find that you are struggling to understand why, asking why to yourself, to that inner child, it could mean that you have suppressed your wounds and your inner child a lot and not sat with those shadow dark aspects of yourself, that wounding. And so you are struggling to connect to your wounded inner child. So if you want to feel more connection to your inner child, so you can get to these limiting beliefs and finally release them, on the 16th of June, I will be running an inner child healing workshop. And this is mainly focusing on reconnecting to your inner child, practices you can do to aid your healing process. And this will be a nice safe container to help us open up, feel vulnerable, because vulnerability is the key to healing. When we give ourselves permission to feel and be vulnerable with ourselves or with somebody else. And often if we don't reconnect to our inner child, we can carry on suppressing those emotions, those wounds, and then it stops us from living a purposeful, driven, spiritual life, and continue chasing and believing that we can just think our way out of our wounds. And we believe this external thing, this book, this course, will finally heal us. So if you want to finally take the leap and do that inner work and reconnect to your inner child and show your inner child some love and compassion, join us on the 16th. So just click the link in the pinned comments below and reserve your spot now. And I just want to let you know, it's donation based, so you just pay what you can. So I hope to see you there on the 16th. So this means when we are trying to chase everything all the time, we are just trying to forget that our wounds exist and that our shadow exists. And when we start to do that work and sit with our wounds, that's when we can stop projecting, stop operating from our inner child wounds or trauma responses, stop escaping, stop trying to think our way into healing, and actually take a holistic approach of the mind, body, and soul. And when we begin to sit with the shadow, we feel less afraid of our shadow, less afraid of our wounds, and less afraid of the pain. And we can begin to integrate that and bring neutrality with it and be in balance. Because there are stories that my ego has attached to that used to put a meaning onto that story with that shameful, how dare you do that? Oh, that's disgusting, dirty. A lot to do with my sexual trauma. But now I can talk to my partner about anything with complete neutrality and know that I can love myself still, even though those things happened. And I love my inner child, and I can always reassure my inner child when I am triggered, when I feel like, oh, I haven't done journaling today, I better go and do some journaling. So you can begin today by inquiring with yourself. You don't even need a fancy journal. Go and get some paper and a pen and begin to ask yourself, why am I chasing? Why do I need that external thing? Why do I need external validation? Why do I feel like I am not good enough? Because it's all rooted in your childhood experiences, particularly if you had quite a tough upbringing. Because then when you see it for what it is, it has no power over you. And just show love and compassion. And this is just some of the steps that I'm going to go over in the Inner Child Healing Workshop. I'm going to also talk about the alchemy of that. So if you feel called to attend the Inner Child Workshop, click the link in the pinned comments. So check out this video next, where I talk about why you haven't actually fully healed yet and the approach you need to take. So with that being said, I will see you on the next video. Much love.